A tide is a very long period wave that moves through oceans in response to the forces exerted by the moon and sun. Tides arise in the oceans and progress toward the coastlines where they appear as the regular rise and fall of the sea surface. When the highest part or crest of the waves reaches a particular location, that is when the high tide occurs. Low tide corresponds to the lower part of the wave. The height difference of a high tide and a low tide is called the tidal range. Tides are caused by the gravitational interaction between the Earth and Moon. The gravitational attraction of the Moon causes the oceans to bulge out in the direction of the Moon. Another bulge occurs on the opposite side because of the Earth being pulled toward the Moon and away from the water on the far side. While this is happening, the Earth is rotating, which causes two tides to occur each day. A spring tide is commonly known as the king tide, which refers to the springing forth of the tide during a new and full moon. During a full or new moon, which occurs when the Earth, Sun, and Moon are nearly in alignment, and the average tidal ranges are longer, which occurs twice each month. The moon appears new when it is directly between the Earth and Sun. The moon appears full when the Earth is between the moon and sun. In both cases, the gravitational pull of the sun is added to the gravitational pull of the moon on Earth, causing the oceans to bulge a bit more than usual. This proves that high tides are a little higher and low tides are a little lower than average. Spring tides occur twice each lunar month all year long, regardless to the season. 7 days after spring tide, the sun and moon are at angles to each other. This occurrence is the bulge of the ocean caused by the sun that cancels out the bulge of the moon, which produces moderate tides called neap tides, which means that high tides are a little lower and low tides are a little higher than average. Neap tides occur during the first and third quarter of moon, when the moon is seen half full. Since tides fluctuate over more than 6 hours, you can determine what percentage of the total flow has passed using the rule of 12. The range of tides is divided into 1/12 units. During the first hour, 1/12 of the tide changes. During the second hour, 2/12 of the tide have moved. Continuing the progression, the third hour moves 3/12, fourth hour 3/12 again, and back down to 1/12 by the end of the sixth hour in the high-low or low-high cycle. For example, this chart shows August 2016 tides. So the low tide is 2 feet above the chart datum level, which is the baseline. Even a high 14 feet means that 12 feet will be moving. During the first hour, 1/12 of the tide changes. During the second hour, 2/12 of the tide has moved. By the third hour, 3/12 has moved. This equals 6 feet of water during the first half of the tidal range. Since the low tide was already 2.0 feet above the baseline, the total depth at a certain location will be 8 feet of water. Another way in determining the actual tide changes is due to the shift of the moon from spring to neap tide. This is a linear change, which basically each day alters the shift. Therefore, the change in daily range is spring neap sevenths.